Hello, and welcome to episode 42 of Missed Mando, Ontario's source for the latest in the disc golf world. I'm your host, Robbie Holden, joined, as always, by my friend and co-host, Sean Galbraith. Shawnee G, how you doing, and what you been up to since our last episode? We've been up to a lot, I think.
Welcome back to the show. Feels like it has been forever since you've been joining us here on the show.
It's only like 2 weeks ago.
It's been okay. It's actually been more like 2 weeks, but it feels like forever. I have
3 weeks actually
missed you. So what have I been up to? Let's see here. So I played the Lake Ontario Open in Pro 50. Had an absolute blast getting my ass handed to me on Cedar Creek Golds and Haute Goat Gold. But when we got over to Newcastle, I shot a career high 956 rated round.
Let's go.
Did really well, really happy. Shot a -1 from the whites, which I was absolutely thrilled with. A tournament average of 875, which is like 30 points above my rating, which I was super happy with. And you know, even the plus 24 I shot on Haute Goat Golds was a little bit above my rating. So I had a fantastic time. Didn't end up cashing, so I didn't have to decide if I was going to go pro. I was tied with my new friend Howie coming into hole 18 after I completely crapped the bed on hole 15. And then I lost by 2 strokes on 18. Oh, well, what are you going to do? Such a fantastic, fun time playing those courses with those guys. And
would you have taken the cash and gone pro?
Yeah, I probably would have. Why not? My rating is low enough.
Shawnee G.
My rating is low enough that it wouldn't affect my ability to play anything other than like
That's
majors, which oh no, like I'm not winning AM 50 at a major anyway. So like this has absolutely no impact in my disc golf career whatsoever. But so I'm keeping my eye out for here and there for where tournaments that I might try the pro division again for fun. Why not? Donate my money to other players. Huge shout out at that event to Chris Beatty from Newcastle, who shot a +6 over the 3 rounds, absolutely scorching, to my +49. So it was a tight battle, but he did pull it off in the end, and so well done to Chris. And then the only other thing I've been doing is getting ready for last weekend's Missed Mando Mayhem over at White Spirits, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. It was a smash hit success. And I can't wait to do it again. But what have you been up to? Enough about me.
I have been I recovered from for those that watched and or listened to the last episode will remember that I was a little bit sunburnt the last time that you saw me here on the podcast, just a tad. But I've since recovered from that. I am able to wear a t-shirt now. For those watching on YouTube can see I am in a t-shirt again, which is lovely. And I've been playing some tournaments. I went out and I played the Blueberry Brawl out in Sudbury, one of my favorite tournaments of the year. We will get into that a little bit more in the tournament recap coming up, but I actually did have a pretty good performance, which was nice after the White Spurs Open performance that I had and really didn't want to say much about on our last episode. I also played in the Guelph Royale, which we will also get a little bit more into with the recap coming up eventually. Another one where I did play pretty decent. Back-to-back tournaments where I was on the lead card for the final round. I don't have any trophies to show off, spoiler alert. But I, of course, also had the Missed Mando Mayhem last weekend. Incredible fun, and we will get into all of that when we talk about the Mayhem coming up. But yeah, it's been a little busy. It's actually, I haven't been as busy this season compared to seasons recently where I've played almost 30 tournaments. Hasn't been as busy this year, but the last few weeks have been busy of everything, pretty much something going on pretty much every weekend. But honestly, I love disc golf, so I can't complain. But we have got a lot to get to in this show. We've got a bunch of local tournament recaps. We're going to get to some PDGA majors, 2 PDGA majors, actually, including the World Championships. But first, we are going to send it over to our feature interview for this episode, and we are very excited to welcome on Jess Goulet to the show. We will be right back on Missed Mando. Our next guest joined the PDGA in 2021 and took down 7 wins in FA2 and 1 before going pro in 2023. This season has been her best yet, though, getting her first FPO win at the CWE in St. Catharines, winning the Dreammaker Open right after that, and then rattling off 3 straight second-place finishes at Forefathers, Bronte, and White Spruce. She then went to BC and won her first A-tier at the Tournament Capital Open, and is most recently coming off of another win at the Lake Ontario Open. It's a pleasure to welcome to Missed Mando, Jess Goulet. Jess, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
It is a pleasure to have you on in the midst of an incredible heater that you are on right now. But before we get into that heater, with new guests to the show, we like to take things back to the start. As I mentioned in the intro, you officially joined the PDGA in 2021, but you actually played your first tournament the year before when you won the Toronto Island Maple Leaf in FA2. So how long had you been playing disc golf up to that point, and who or what originally got you into the sport?
Right. Yes, I'm actually the result of a COVID disc golf joiner. I was part of a lot of co-ed sports, soccer and baseball. I actually originally played softball pretty competitively in the NCAA in uni. So that's kind of my background is softball. And then we couldn't play anything during COVID. And my cousin and my brother found Soper Park in Cambridge and introduced disc golf to us. And me and my husband, Brian, and we loved it from day one. So we would have started it during COVID. I actually ended up moving to Wales for a year, like in the UK for school. So I took that whole year off, came back, and that would have been why I played Toronto Island randomly, did well, and then took off for a year. So I guess I started during COVID, took a year off, and then came back and dived right back into it.
Did you play it all while you were over in Wales?
So I tried. So I brought 3 discs. I brought my T-Bird 3, a Rock 3, and then my putter. And Wales actually has no courses. There was maybe 3 on the coast, which I did go to see one. But as you could imagine, there wasn't really much of a disc golf community out there.
Right.
But England is littered with disc golf. But it was COVID. So it was kind of hard to get in and around. But I played in one of the tournaments. I don't know if it was sanctioned. But I went to Oxford for one of them, which was cool. But I was the only female signed up in the tournament. So I got one tournament out there with zero practice rounds. It was great.
An international tournament under the belt, though. That's pretty darn rad, I must say.
Mm-hmm. True.
That was the
Really,
lockdown.
I guess international. I guess international could include the States as well. But I meant over in Europe, a true international across the pond tournament.
Yeah, I've actually never played in the States yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the UK tournament was the Lockdown Breakout Part 1.
Oh, okay. So it was sanctioned.
Yeah, and you were the only FA1 player.
Yep. Represent.
Yeah, there were only 3 women in total playing in the event. The other 2 were FPO.
Oh, there were FPO. Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. Including a veteran, a 4-digit PDJ member.
Oh, wow. Missed opportunity for myself not to have played with her.
But you came back and you made up for lost time over there. That is for sure. You didn't spend too long in the AMs. You went pro in 2020.
free?
2022, I believe. Basically, when you got back, you played pro at the Spring Fling, at the Eddyville Super Spin, and at Provincials that year. What were you feeling in your game at that point where you thought it's time to ditch the AMs and go for the money?
I will contribute all of that to Brian. He basically was like, "You'll never get better if you stay in MA or FA1." Because I was doing well in FA1. I guess not for long, but well enough that I wanted to continue challenging myself. Um, and a challenge it was. I donated a lot of money for the first bit there for a good long while, actually, 2022. So yeah, a couple of years of donations, but I'm glad I did because it is a big jump, and it was awesome to play with other women that are shaping shots. And just because I always play with Brian and other league members, typically males. So obviously we have a different game, a different strategy. So it was pretty pivotal, I would say, even though maybe it was a bit early, but I don't regret it.
I fully agree with the mindset of moving up and playing with players that are better than yourself. There's nothing to make you better than playing with people better than yourself. At least I have found that in my history, and obviously it has worked because you got your first FPO win this year in comeback fashion at the CWE in St. Catharines, and then backed it up immediately with another win at the Dreammaker Open, which you had previously won in FA1. So obviously something special in the water out at Dreammaker. How are you feeling about your game going through those two events? And were there any like major highlights that stick out in your brain from those first two FPO wins?
Yeah, at the CWE, I like kind of like you said, the in simpler terms, the first round wasn't great, and it was chalked up to just some dinky upshots and maybe a missed putt. And I remember thinking to myself, this is last year's season on repeat. I would always play my worst in tournaments, and I really didn't want that for myself this season. So that was I believe between rounds. Oh, sorry, guys. Couple dogs here with me. But yeah, so between rounds, I remember specifically thinking like, okay, we gotta get rid of this because golf is all mindset. So I definitely think my mental game has improved. Um, and Dreammaker, same thing happened. First round was not good, and again had a little moment of clarity and came back and played a better round. So I would definitely say that, yeah, mindset and a lot of practice are kind of what stuck out to me in those first two events. Also, figuring out my putting game. I feel like the spring is kind of you're shaking off the rust, but more so for your putting. Because, yeah, you can putt indoors all winter long, and then you get outside and you got a little bit of a breeze and it changes everything. So, but yeah, as soon as that's on, then we're good to go.
It really is incredible how much different putting indoors and outdoors can feel, even if it's not even like a breeze outside at all. Just something about the feeling in the air and like I don't know, the sunlight or something. I don't know. It is totally different. So I totally feel you on that one.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think you gained some do you think you gained some extra confidence going into that Dreammaker tournament after taking down your first pro win at CWE? And then you also mentioned that you were working on putting. What was going on before, and what did you improve?
Yeah, I definitely think winning the CWE, I gained some confidence, and just doing it once, you're like, oh, okay, I can do this. I am in the right division. I'm capable. And then it kind of makes it easier to wrap your head around winning again. So yeah, definitely some confidence gaining, definitely propelled the season forward. And putting, I don't know. I was holding on to my first putter for the longest time. So 5 years ago, I guess it would have been, I started putting with a Banger GT, which has that thumb train in it. Are you guys familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Right. You probably know no one that throws with it. Not, not a very popular putter. And there's so much wobble to my putter. So I feel like I was trying to fix my mechanics to get rid of this wobble and trying to do all these crazy things. And then finally, the one day I forgot my putters. So I used Brian's putters, which are Luna's, and the wobble was gone. And yeah, so again, a moment of clarity. I was like, all right, maybe. And then so I just simplified my putter. Switched my putter, simplified my putting technique, and I think it just made a huge difference. Um, Actually, a shout out to Jeremy Stevens. It was at Dreammaker. This is where it really turned on. I had like 5 different tells for like where to point my hand and where to bend my knees and where to follow through. And he said just focus on the one tell that kind of puts them all in order. And that's what I did. And I'd say ever since then, my putting's been pretty good. So thanks.
Not that there's anything wrong with a wobbly putt. I mean, that just got Owen Scoggins the world championship.
That's fair. That is fair. But I guess if you
the
practice a
wobbliest putt on tour.
yeah. But yeah, that's very true. But I guess I was trying to get rid of it, so I was kind of going against the grain. But
So you had a hard fought battle at the White Spruce Open, where you went to a playoff with Kat Johnson, and unfortunately, I was watching. You went a little long off the tee, off on one, and down into pretty darn into the woods, I would say, and had a really tough comebacker. But you shook that off, and you went immediately out to British Columbia the next weekend for the Tournament Capital Open in Kamloops, where you, I would say, bounced back fairly well. You shot your highest rated round ever with a 953 in round 2. And then you had a career high event rating of 937 and won by 7 strokes in your first A tier win. I've played the Tournament Capital Open before. It's a fantastic event. Carrie Neal does a really great job with it. You played 2 very different courses. You got Rose Hill, which is like, for those who don't know, which is like this like mountain plateau desert style course with like scrub brush and no grass. It's just all like sand and like pine. And then you were down at MacArthur Island for, I think, 2 rounds, which is like a former 9-hole ball golf course, classic sort of park style course. What about these courses do you think so perfectly suited your game to allow you to really run away with it and maybe give you an advantage?
Well, Rose Hill, I feel, was a lot more challenging, especially because, like you said, it is that hilltop. And as soon as the wind came in, I think we all struggled with
Pretty
it.
ripping.
Yeah, you're high up there. There's a lot of cliffside shots, which are so aesthetic, so beautiful, but very challenging.
Daunting.
Yeah. So my goal, because we had practiced and we landed on Wednesday, practice Thursday. Well, we had to drive, get out there. So we had very, very quick practice before the sun came set. And my goal for that first day was just to play clean. And I've never played with those girls, so I wasn't sure what to expect. And honestly, I didn't play very clean, but I did capitalize on some of the holes that were kind of in my favor, like the forehand long bomber shots. So that helped me out quite a bit. So made some mistakes, but cleaned it up on other holes. And then MacArthur Island, I think, was a huge advantage to me just because I do have a little bit more distance. And I'd say my distance for my backhand and my forehand are similar. So I was able to kind of approach holes at different angles than the field. So that definitely, played to my favor quite a bit. So yeah, and playing, so MacArthur Island, I just feel like it played to my skill set. I capitalized on it's kind of a birdie or die course. So when I had a birdie, I made it happen. and didn't get into too much trouble. I felt like I was leaving myself a lot of birdie chances, and then if I didn't get the birdie, it was a safe par. So yeah, definitely played to my skills a bit.
What kind of distance are you getting on your throws, and your sports background? Does that sort of, has that helped with like throwing big power forehands?
Yeah,
What is it?
I would
What is it translated most into your game? Is it the forehand?
the forehand, yeah. So I would say the same, like the snap, because I was a pitcher. So what are those tech discs? Um, we had that over the winter, and my spin on my forehand's significantly higher than my backhand, which is kind of wild. Couldn't tell you the numbers though. But and just the speed too of the release. It's same with pitching, so a lot of that translated into my forehand. My cousin, when he showed us the course back in 2020, he was like adamant about me learning the forehand because he obviously knew that that would translate well. And the backhand's kind of like hitting, the same mechanics, like thrusting your hips into your upper body. But yeah, backhand's something new for me, because I think I focused so much on my forehand that I really spent some time over the winter kind of developing my backhand, and it's really paid off this season. It's much better than it was. So
Did you have any sort of expectations going into the TCO? And I mean, you won it, so like presumably you at least exceeded or met your expectations going into it. Did you any highlights from that event that come to mind?
yeah, I'm gonna be frank. I had zero expectations of the TCO. It was kind of like a last minute sign up. I was flying out to BC to visit some friends. It was my friend's birthday because I went to school out in Burnaby at Simon Fraser University. So I was out to visit friends, and my friend's also pregnant, so and she just had a kid like a year ago, so I was also meeting her kid for the first time, and we just saw that there was a tournament the weekend before, so it was kind of like a last minute sign up. I had zero expectations. The field was bigger and brand new, and they all those women are lovely. They all have sponsorships, so I was actually intimidating going into this tournament because I didn't know anyone, and they seemed like and they are really lovely athletes. They're really good disc golf players. So yeah, zero expectations, which I also think helped because you just go out, you play your game, you leave it all out there, and results are in.
Yeah, there were some heavy hitters. You had Joe Henderson from Calgary. You had Gabby Lee, Terry Hong. Like you were up against a formidable field.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was awesome playing with them. They were so supportive, and it was, yeah, just a real treat to meet them. So yeah.
How did you celebrate after?
We So I was staying with my friend's parents. So we went out for dinner, had some margaritas and some authentic Mexican food.
Ah, yes, authentic Kamloops Mexican food.
Yeah, delicious. Yeah, yeah, wedding Kamloops, right?
Margs and Mexican food sounds pretty much like a perfect way to celebrate a tournament win, if you asked me. So I'm right on board with that celebration. But you followed up the win in BC with another win back here in Ontario, shooting the second highest event average of your career, second only to TCO, with a 934 event rating. Oh, excuse me. En route to a one-stroke win at the Lake Ontario Open over the second highest-rated FPO player in Canada, Rebecca Dawn, who is fresh off of playing on the Pro Tour. Playing at 3 different courses for a single event can definitely be a challenge. How do you feel the courses here suited your game? And since these are also the courses FPO will be playing for Canadian Nationals coming up later this year, do you feel some extra confidence going into that event?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And that was the big reason why we signed up for the Lou, was just to get some nationals practice in. And I love those courses. We live just far enough away that we don't really play them often. But it's always a treat when we do get to, because they're so beautiful, so aesthetic. Um, Cedar Creek, unfortunately, we won't be playing for nationals, but I had played one practice round before on gold layout because I just assumed FPO would be playing gold layout. So actually, the first round of the Lou, I show up and I have my bag because there was a shotgun start. So I had my bag on the tee of gold for hole 4, maybe it was. And all of it was Rebecca and Kat, and they were waiting for me at the tee of blue. And I was like, wait a minute. And it's kind of like off into the woods. Didn't even know there was a tee in there. So that was essentially playing the course blind. Like I had played golds before, but you're kind of coming at a bunch of different angles. So that was like an added element of the experience, I guess. I played Cedar Creek semi-blind, I guess. So I had to make a lot of last minute or changes because you kind of have an idea of what you're going to play off the tee. And for myself, I struggle a lot with whether I'm throwing a forehand or a backhand. And some of the tees I had in my mind that, okay, hole 6, I'm throwing a forehand, and you get up to the tee of blue, or sorry, the blue tee, and it's not a forehand anymore. And now I'm having to like change my mindset. Anyway, so that was a pleasant surprise. But yeah, I really enjoy those courses. Again, they're long, but very precise. There's a lot of OB that comes into play. So I feel like for those courses, it's all about just staying out of trouble, being aggressive enough that you can save par, but don't flirt with the OB too much. And I think that actually I was thinking about the weekend and I don't remember going OB once, which is pretty awesome for those 3 courses. And that keep that in mind for nationals.
Yeah, on those 3 courses, no OBs is certainly a feat. And yes, I did make a mistake in saying that these were the 3 courses that you'd be playing for nationals. You won't be playing Cedar Creek, but you will be playing P15. Have you played P15 before? I'm pretty sure you've played in the P15 Open, if I'm not mistaken. How confident do you feel on that course as a combo with Newcastle and Hoco?
I will definitely be getting out there before nationals because I left a bit of my dignity out on that course back in April. I forgot how to throw a backhand, and you definitely need to be able to throw clearly down a gap, like stay on the fairway. That's another, it's kind of like Cedar Creek. You got longer holes, but stay on the fairway. Natural OB rather than a real OB. I a little less confident with that one just because that tournament didn't go so well. But we'll be getting out there to see now that I feel a bit better about my game, see how it looks like as in August rather than April. But yeah, I feel like it would be comparable to Cedar Creek, just a lot of rocky footing too, so a lot more standstills, a different approach at P15 for sure.
Definitely a unique feature to some of the courses that you get out in that region of Ontario. You certainly are going to have to fight with some footwork at some point.
Oh yeah.
Looking ahead to this season, you've got some big tournaments on the calendar, including the very big CCR Open in Michigan. I imagine that event has probably the largest FPO field that you might have come up against, with 25 players in the division currently registered, including, let me see here. I think it's a new player. I think her name is Owen Scoggins. I'm not familiar with her. And Kat Merch. I don't know. I think she's new to the sport. Have you played the event or those courses before? And thinking about it, does the size of the event and the sort of the caliber of player sort of get into your mindset for how you're approaching a tournament like that?
So I haven't played in the States before, and CCR was going to be the first time we did that. And I believe we signed up like months ago because I don't actually recall seeing the world's champion name amidst the 20, and I don't remember seeing a field of 25.
Surprise.
Yeah, there you have it.
Now that you know all this information, what comes to mind?
I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to possibly be on the same card. That would be amazing. Honestly, I'm just excited to get out there, cross the border, and see how they throw discs on the other side because I've never experienced that. Um, Watching them on television, they do some amazing stuff, and then sometimes they also miss their upshot, and it kind of like brings you back to, oh yeah, like the pros do it too. So it'd be really cool to play with them and see how your game kind of matches up to a world champs, especially your forehand, right? Whenever I chop a forehand, I'm like, oh, here comes the Owen Scoggins throat. So she's actually inspired me as well. um but yeah, so that I very much look forward to it. And yeah, I hope by chance that our names align and we get on the same card at some point throughout that weekend.
That would be absolutely amazing. Do you think you'll get down to try and practice the courses ahead of time, or just sort of go down a couple days before?
Ideally, that would be
play them
awesome.
blind and win.
Yeah, hopefully we'll definitely get out. Oh, that's actually back when back to real life and I'm back to teaching. And I don't, because right now I have the summer off, so we're pretty flexible with time. Yeah, it might be tough to get out there. Yeah, maybe get one in before the summer ends. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Might be a good idea. But the last event that you're currently signed up for is the Canadian Championships, where once again you'll be in a great FPO field and you'll be going up against the likes of touring pros like Paige Pierce, Sophia Dunica, and Raven Klein. Between nationals and CCR, which field do you think will give you the biggest challenge?
Honestly, I think the nationals field is really challenging, right? We have all the best of Canada and a couple, like you said, touring pros. Yeah, I think that'll be. Again, I was shocked with the 25 from CCR, so I may have to look at that once again. But I do think the nationals field is no joke. I think there's a lot of really great women on that field, and that'll be. I've usually when there's a field of three, which there has been a lot in the past. If you doink a putt, it's not the end of the tournament for you, right? But now that the field's 25, or I guess 16, right, for the nationals. Is it 16? Yeah, something like that.
Something around there.
Yeah, I feel like you just can't let anything slip. So, yeah, I ultimately think the nationals is going to be a really tough field. Look forward to seeing the results come in.
Do you have
currently a field of 14 at Canadian Nationals in FPO?
Okay.
Which of the courses do you think you're going to be able to really make your mark on of the three?
I really love Cedar Creek, but that's not one of ours.
Alas.
All right. But I do think I have an advantage with Newcastle. I feel like a lot of the shots call for a forehand or a backhand turnover, but a touchier forehand, I personally think that would play really well in Newcastle. A lot of the shapes are just like 200 straight and then fade to the right. So that might be advantageous for myself. So I think that, Newcastle might give me a huge advantage. And if not, just staying clear of OB at Oak Goat, kind of do what I did last weekend. That should be all right as well.
You played the Forefathers at Newcastle earlier this year where you placed second. Did it use their new modified 18 layout, like with hole 14 playing up the cliff? Or did you guys play the 20? Oh, so you did have that layout.
Yeah, we played the cliffhanger hole, right? Yes. But they merged two holes.
13 and 4. 13 and 14.
Yes. Yeah. So at that tournament,
or something.
At Forefathers, I put up some pretty big numbers on that hole. Actually, I think I came out with a par round 1, round 2, probably a double. So that was etched in my brain going into the loo. I was like, I just have to come out of this hole clean. And I was actually the only one, I believe, in FPO and MPO that came out with a birdie on it. So that was really cool. And I think that actually was the hole I birdied, and the other two on the card, either, I think the minimum was a double bogey. So that's like a big 3 to 4 shot jump, which really helped me out. So I feel like if I could do that in nationals as well, just not even go for the birdie, but just stay clean with the par, I think that'll take strokes on the field for sure.
Yeah, you went birdie. Rebecca went double bogey, and Kat went a little bit more than that. So that was a big turning point hole for that event. You made up a lot of strokes on that one hole alone, maybe more than almost any other hole in the tournament.
Yeah, yeah. So definitely clutch to pull through on that hole.
Absolutely. It's such a that up the cliff shot is so daunting. But man, it's super fun.
Yeah. I think forehand's the play. Forehand's always the play. Just get deep enough on the hole and then just toss a forehand up, and it'll naturally fight away from OB. As long as you throw it high enough, and yeah, should be good.
As a lefty, I agree.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So you're now going to be jumping across the border to take on world champions and the like, and playing some bigger events. Do you see yourself in the summer months, the non-teaching months? Do you see yourself dabbling more into maybe playing some pro tour events or majors like USWDGC, things like that next year?
Absolutely. I'm kind of kicking myself for not signing up earlier, but I didn't know I was going to be doing as I am. So for next summer, I'm definitely gonna try and get out there across the border a little bit more. Um, yeah, I was actually signed up for Worlds. I was 12th of 14 on the wait list, and I actually got all the way down to second, and it was the night before, and I was looking at flight tickets and shaking in my boots. um, but yeah, so unfortunately that didn't work out, but I was excited for the opportunity. But next year I think I'll get ahead of it and just try and get out there a bit earlier, because I love to try, because I have no idea how it would go, right? So
Sure that watching the coverage of on DGN of the World Championship must have gave a little bit of FOMO getting that close on the wait list, and just how incredible it looked out there. Watching it on the final day, I couldn't believe the size of the crowds out there were just mind-boggling for this silly little game that we love so much. They just love it so much over there in Finland. I can't wait to get over there at some point. But unless I'm mistaken, I don't believe you are currently sponsored. Am I wrong with that?
no, you're not wrong. I'm a free agent over here.
A free agent. Hopefully we'll be changing this off season, or maybe even sooner. Who knows? So what does your disc golf bag look like then? Is there a particular manufacturer that you like to bag and kind of focus on one brand, or do you like to bag multiple brands? And what have been some of the most important go-tos for you this season, especially on this last little hot streak that you've been on?
I definitely have a mixed bag, but I would say that my cousin suggested an Innova starter pack 5 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I learned to
Classic.
throw the right. So the T-Bird 3, the Destroyer, Firebird, those are still my go-tos. Um, Honestly, I would say those are, yeah, like necessary pivotal discs in my bag, because they're my forehand discs. So I only really throw Destroyer and Firebird on forehand. And I'm actually, so I need those in my bag. And backhand, I'm kind of trying to figure it out because I swung. So I used to only throw also Destroyer and Firebird on backhand, which you can't do if you have a noodle arm. And then I swung the pendulum too far. I was throwing all flippy discs, turning them over, cut rolls. And now I'm back to I've actually got Enigma as my go-to backhand right now. So a little bit of Discmania, Essence if I do need a little bit of flip. But also a lot of MVP. I went through a wave phase where I needed to throw the wave. And I actually lost them both at Woodstock, just local to here. Didn't get the back and was forced to kind of venture elsewhere. But I would say I still use the Crave quite a bit. That's kind of like my mid-range fairway that because it's just a notch up from a mid-range, but that I can trust and I really understand how it flies. So yeah,
So money.
I'm all over the place. My go-to forehand upshots would be a pyro and a zone. And I have like 3 different zones because they all do different things. But yeah, so kind of a mixed bag, but kind of all my discs there.
Team Pyro and Team Crave. I'm right there with you. I don't know what I would do without those in my bag. Team Wave for me too, but it sounds like you might have moved on from that. So I don't know if we're on the same team there or not anymore. But
yeah, I pull it out every time I do field work. I'm like, how would this maybe I've changed. How would this work now? Because I kept turning it over, but I think I might get back to it one day.
it's money. It is money.
Have you tried the Trail?
Trail. I feel like I've heard of that.
The MVP Trail. If you liked the Wave, but maybe it was turning over a little too much, try the Trail.
Okay.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite new disc for sure. It was in the
Really?
players pack for us amateurs at provincials last year. So I got to try it without actually having to go out and buy one. And I think I threw it once and was like, yep, right into the bag. Now, unfortunately, I lost the one that I had, and I need a replacement right now, but I'm dying to get it back.
Yeah. What speed is it?
It's an 11 speed, and do you know the turn and fade? -2.2?
Yeah,
I believe that's right.
It's really it's basically a glidier wave and faster wave.
Okay.
Yeah, they released it in the fission plastic this year, and I have it in like a 146, and it just absolutely bombs.
Sean loves his lightweight stuff.
I love the lightweight flippy girls, and this one it's so good. It's so good.
I'll be looking into this for sure.
There we go.
Yeah.
Nope, I lost that question. I'm going to cut this. Here we go. Thought I was like, nope.
Losing my light here. Sorry. Forgot the sunsets.
Anything, Shawnee G?
Last time Robbie was on, it was just getting darker and darker and darker in his room. We had Raven Klein on.
Oh, okay.
We had Raven Klein on from her van, and it was like sunset, and it was just getting darker and darker. And darker.
Okay. I guess that time of the summer, right? Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Indeed it is. Yeah. So before we let you go, we'd like to hit you with a few lightning round questions that we ask all of our new guests. Quick answers, what comes to your mind first, that kind of thing. A softball to start. What is your favorite course?
Rose Hill.
Yes.
That was really hard.
I love Rose Hill.
Yeah, it's just so beautiful, and I had a really great time out there. Yeah, Royale.
It's really different from anything else that I think I've played anywhere.
Yeah,
Just like this like arid kind of cool like cliffside golf.
yeah, and you've got the mountains in the background as your backdrop, and you just can't help but smile as you're bogeying hole 10.
Sure. Oh
Yeah.
man, 10.
Yeah.
10 with the triple Mando.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Just gotta pin it.
Yeah, or overlooking the city from like the basket of like was it like hole 2 or 3 or something like that? Or
Yeah, with the
the
river
pyramid.
splitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the
So
pyramid.
good.
That's cool.
So good.
Very cool. Yeah.
Goodness, I need to get out to BC and play some disc golf.
You
so
really need
bad.
to play the TGM.
I'm missing out. Next one for you though, Jess. What's the hardest course you've ever played?
Hard. Okay. I want to say Toronto Island because every hole is like it feels in reach, so you go for it, and then it's just so punishing if the snarb, right? And then the wind ripping off the water. Yeah. So, yeah, I would say Toronto Island. Yeah.
Cool choice. I like that.
Yeah.
What is one sport to play or watch other than disc golf? What are you choosing?
To play or watch? Softball for old time's sake, for sure. I tried to play in the beer leagues when I was washed up after my 4 years of NCAA, but it's just not the same, is it?
Really would not be.
Yeah, but I like watching it. I still follow some of the NCAA, like the uni girls, kicking butt. So, but not as much as disc golf nowadays.
You watch a lot of pro coverage in disc golf?
Oh yeah, yeah. Watching, that's always on everywhere you look in this house.
It's one of us, one of us, one of us.
100% know that feeling.
Yeah.
Next one we got for you. What song makes you instantly turn the volume to max and sing your heart out?
I'm a folk music kind of gal, and those songs you don't typically listen on blast, but then I do pepper in some Eminem. So I guess yeah, kind of like all over the map with my music taste. But if I was going to blast for to let out a certain amount of emotion, it would be actually Eminem's new album. Couldn't name it, but it just came out. Not new; it was a year ago. But
Latest.
yeah, latest. Yeah, there's some good tunes in there. Highly recommend.
What is your favorite place to stop for food on a road trip?
Ooh, this is going to be the proper Canadian answer, but Tim's. I'm a Tim's through and through, right? Just something quick on a road trip. Can't go wrong with their coffee. They've actually really stepped up their game with their espresso based drinks and their food selection. You can even get pizza these days. So, yeah.
Absolutely cannot go wrong with Timmy's. I don't think there's a tournament that I've played in like the past 3 years that hasn't started with me eating a sausage farmer's wrap from Tim Hortons. Just the go-to on my way there. A nice little quick breakfast wrap. Maybe a muffin to keep in my bag for mid-round because you never know how hungry you're gonna get. But Timmy's is always has my back.
Oh yeah, I always do the same, and I pull out a fruit explosion muffin by hole 9 and regret it instantly. Maybe not the.
It's so delicious, but yeah, that if you get some of that jam on your hands during a round, you're gonna have a one to 2 holes of struggling a little bit at least. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Next one that I've got for you. What movie never gets old no matter how many times you watch it?
Ooh, okay. I feel like I have a whole repertoire of movies I watch on repeat, and this is really gonna bring out the geek in me. But I'm a huge Harry Potter fan and Lord of the Rings. So those never get old. They only get better. So I definitely watch both of those solid repeat.
Those are both in the top 5 of movie franchises for me. Lord of the Rings has got to be number 2. Harry, maybe they're top 3, only behind Star Wars for me. I'm a big Star Wars nerd,
Oh,
but
yeah.
yeah, Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. I agree 100%.
All right.
Being a nerd, this is a very important question. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Ooh,
We've had some very interesting and fun answers on the show, and what would yours be?
I'm going to go with my gut response. Not going to think about it too much. The first thing that came to mind was flight.
I
That'd be
somehow
pretty
knew
cool.
that was going to be the case, because that
Yeah,
would be super, super cool.
right? Just
Peop
fly around everywhere.
People who play a game based on the flight of a disc, I think flight naturally comes to
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much, Jess, for joining us tonight. Before we let you go, do you have any shout outs or any final words, any comments from you that you would like to give? The floor is all yours.
Right. Well, I would like to support my club, the Grand River Disc Golf Association, for always being so supportive. A lot of people do a lot of hard work in the background to make sure there's always fun club events going on. So that's really cool. I don't know when this is going to be released, but also I'm hosting my first ever tournament in October on Thanksgiving weekend. So I was hoping to kind of get some airspace for that as well. It'll be called the Flings Giving at Foxwood, but not White. We have another course on Foxwood that no one ever gets to see. So we're going to throw a C tier, kind of showcase Foxwood Reds. So keep an eye out for that. As for sponsors, got nothing to say. We're happy to hear from you. And otherwise, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate you guys reaching out. So,
It was an absolute pleasure to have you. And yes, sponsors, slide into her DMs. Come on. She's got an Instagram account now. All of a sudden in one day, it was like 13 Instagram reels that you uploaded as like a backlog catch up, which I I really enjoyed. But sponsorships, get on her. Come on. It's going to happen. But thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully I will maybe see you at some Grand River events, because I actually do live in Kitchener and just never. I play mostly in Guelph because that's where I used to live in Orangeville, played in Guelph. I've always played there. But now I live in Kitchener and I need to get more involved with the Grand River Club. So hopefully I will see you out at some club events sometime soon.
absolutely. Get out there. We're waiting.
Yeah, I will be out there. I know I'm in some Discord groups with Brian too, so I'm sure if I need a card mate for one of your flex events or something, I've got some contacts I can reach out to. So hopefully I will see you out there soon. But until then, good luck with the rest of your season. Keep racking up some wins, get a little Missed Mando bump, and we will get you on again sometime in the future, hopefully celebrating some more wins.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it, guys. All right.
Once again, awesome interview here with Jess Goulet, and we will be right back on Missed Mando. Welcome back to Missed Mando. Thank you once again to Jess for coming on and joining us. A great interview with her, and let's see, she's on a tear right now. Hopefully that can continue, and I'm sure it will. She is a great player, that's for sure. Moving on now to some Ontario news, and we've got a little bit of general news to cover that I'm actually general news for my How I Met Your Mother fan. Anyways, I'm going to throw it over to Shawnee G for our little bit of news.
First up is kind of exciting news.
Yeah,
Canadian championships are coming up in September, and one of the side events is the clinic with Elaine King.
How many time world champion?
Oh, geez. Let's see here. She is.
Oh, I thought you would know it off the top of your head. It's
5 times.
Yeah, buddy.
5-time world champion. 3-time Masters world champion. 2-time USW DGC champion. and 2019 U.S. Masters Disc Golf champion, Disc Golf Hall of Fame since 1997, and four-time Player of the Year. Like absolute legend of the sport, one of the greatest to have ever played it, and she is doing a clinic at Haute Goat on Wednesday, the Wednesday before national starts. That is September 10th. Registration, I believe, is now open to anyone. Originally, it was held for just for women who were participating in nationals, but that pre-registration has lifted and it's now open to anyone. And there are only 11 spots left at this tournament, or at this clinic. Like, come and learn from the absolute best. Oh, and one more thing, Mando is going to be sort of the presenting sponsor of this clinic. We're hoping to be able to arrange to have her come on the show for an interview ahead of that. But this is not going to be one that you want to miss. This event is going to be, I mean, it's going to be great. Like, you want to take a clinic with Elaine King as part of Canadian Nationals. Absolutely. I want to take a clinic with Elaine King as part of Nationals. And she's signed up to play the event as well. She's going to be playing in FP40.
Absolutely love it. Who wouldn't want to learn from one of the greatest players in the history of disc golf, tied for the most world championships in FPO history with Paige Pierce and Juliana Korver, an absolute legend of the game? That will be an absolute blast. And it is so dang cool that Miss Mando is going to be involved in some a very small but a great way, at least. I'm very much looking forward to that. Shawnee G, how about some registration talk?
Somehow there are still registrations that are opening up for this disc golf season. And we've had so many amazing events that have gone on this year, but we have so many still to come. The first one that is opening on August 7th, the Chain Link Conservation Series at Kelso. This event goes down over at Kelso Conservation Area in Milton on their extended 18-hole course. Different divisions, I think, are maybe playing different layouts. I'm not sure. But it's going down on September 27th. So if you're like me and you're going to be at the MVP Open that weekend, you won't be able to play. But if you're not me, you should absolutely sign up to play that event. It's going to be a great time. Chainlink always runs a great tournament. They just did the one out at Albion, which we're going to be talking about a little bit later on the show. And this will be another good one. Next on the list is the 4th annual Greater Niagara Falls Classic. This is apparently going down at Fireman's on September 20th. Now, Fireman's has been closed because they've been dredging the lake and digging up all the thing and the mud and the muck, and it's been a mess. So it's not actually open now. So I'm hoping that it's going to still be there at Fireman's, but I guess to be determined. Either way, registration for it opens up on August 12th and is taking place on September 20th. So a little over a month and a half now. So hopefully that park is going to be good to go by then. If not, stay tuned. Next, a little one popped up on the calendar that, I'll be honest, I don't know anything about. The Discraft Niagara Tournament, it's called. It's going down at Centennial Gardens in St. Catharines on October 18th, and registration for it opens on August 7th. The event description says that this is, quote, one of the first TD Academy tournaments. And I don't actually know what the TD Academy is. I think it is this new sort of tournament director school that the PDGA has set up and is going to be running. But in any event, it looks like it's going to be a fun event, very newcomer friendly, with the PDGA fees waived for non-current members. It's only $40, and yeah, looks like a good time. A couple other events that registration is still open for, that there is space to register. We've got the Sudbury MVP Challenge going down August 9th and 10th. You can still register for that. Got a nice one going on at White Spruce this weekend. The Vivian Sukwa Memorial Doubles event. That's going on August 9th. Love Mo from White Spruce. This is such a great fundraiser and charity event. Really great time. Definitely want to come out for that one. Mo was out at the Mayhem, and definitely we're showing the love, and we're going to be playing that one too. Next is the St. Joe Glow and Throw out in Jocelyn Township on August 16th. Gotta love the glowies, and yeah, absolutely show up to play that one. And then lastly, Eastern Canadian Nationals out at the Eddyville Super Spin. It's an A tier, and there's still space available. You can still register. It's taking place August 15th to 17th out Ottawa way. Lots of great tournaments out there. This is just a handful of what is available out there. Sign up, play, and crush it.
Lots and lots and lots of tournament options for us here in Ontario these days. Absolutely love to see it. Let's get into some tournament recaps now. And we are, of course, going to start with the most important tournament of the season. While there was a world championship going on in Finland, I mean, like, who cares? That's back burner news. This is the real stuff. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you.
Truly, the most important tournament in the world went down this past weekend. We are, of course, talking about the third Missed Mando Mayhem, which descended upon White Spruce. The event inflicted pain and suffering on the amazing 42 teams that took part. This iteration included more than 32 Mandos placed across an extended 21-hole layout. Some of the new innovations and stupidity that we came up with included the Wheel of Mayhem, a 0.2 meter rule, and the Be Glorious Hula Hoop Mando. Of course, we also had to bust out past event favorite, the Floor is Lava, as a penalty, where any shot that didn't make it past the thing was a hazard. We also had a big Mando on the hole, making it a very tough and super fun to make the players cry. Gail and Robbie and I were happy to hear all of the complaining about the design while we were relaxing at Tournament Central, watching the people spin the Wheel of Mayhem out on hole 9 and suffer its fate. Some of the fun things that they could have spun include put on a blindfold, spin around 3 times and throw, or throw every shot, including your putt, with a mini, or maybe you had to throw a Zephyr. You had to throw grenades or rollers. And then to make matters even worse, we put those awful putt confidently basket covers that are supposed to make you a better putter, but just mostly reveal how terrible of a putter I personally am. So we had them on both of the practice baskets that players could choose to play to on hole 9. And it had the desired result. It made their lives miserable, which, yes, fantastic. When the dust finally settled, Peter Bonk and Christina Wasquan took home the coveted More Throws, More Fun award for the most honest scorekeeping and truly the spirit of the event. We absolutely love this event. The scores do not matter, like, at all. We just want people to have fun on an absolutely ridiculous round of disc golf. And as I always say, I didn't drive all that way to play less golf, and this team absolutely captured the spirit of that with the More Throws, More Fun award. Kudos to Team Bonk. At the other end of the scoreboard, however, it was the Inconsistent Chris's, comprised of Chris Shepard and Chris Kindon, who won the AM division with a score of +7. Over on the pro side, it was a battle truly down to the last hole between teams Spence Klops and Ruidosaurus, Planet of the Monsters, who is Spencer Young and Calvin Ruida, versus Renton Schmenton and Smelly Pelly, who was Chris Ozolins and Tobin Izat. In the end, it was Oz and Tobin who tragically won by a single stroke, giving another victory for Team Bronte. They shot an amazing -2, and they claimed their second Mayhem title. Prior to the event, I was thinking that a realistic maximum potential score was a -7, and I am very happy that they didn't prove me wrong, because when we did the one out at Eastview, we were thinking like a +3 was going to be the winning score, and Oz and Tobin shot a -14, and yeah, that's not going to happen ever again. Absolutely not. Any shout outs you want to give Mr. Robbie Holden?
Absolutely. Of course, a big shout out to everybody who came out to play and who bought raffle tickets on site the day of the event. Between registrations, mulligan sales, and the raffle tickets, around $3,500 was raised to support the ODSA's Little Heisers Tour for junior players. Absolutely amazing. This money will be a huge benefit to that series of free events for young players around the province, which this year will be culminating fairly soon, I'm pretty sure, with the junior provincials being held this year out in Paris. Big shout out to Colleen McInnes, a great friend of us here on the pod and a member of Team Chronic Pain for the Missed Mando Mayhem, along with Chris Brown. She went out and smashed an ace on hole 7, which I think was their second last. I'm pretty sure it was their second last hole of the event. And that shot gave them solo third place, only 2 shots out of first, which was absolutely amazing. And I'm sure that you are going to take that a little bit personally, Shawnee G, the fact that a mayhem course designed by you could allow an ace. I'm sure that's got you feeling prickly a little.
You know, I actually don't mind this at all. So there were not many ace, there weren't many ace options on this hole, but there were on this course, but there were a couple. There was a hole 7, and during hole 7, if you're familiar, dear listener, with White Spruce, it's kind of a plinko gallery. I didn't end up put any Mandos on that hole. I just made half of the thing hazard. So it was high risk of roll away into hazard on every shot. And Colleen just cut that out entirely by just getting an ace. And hey, respect. I have absolutely no problem with that. There are a couple others like regular hole 18, which was tournament 19. Theoretically, you could get a roller ace, and a couple people almost did. I hear little Ricky put it off the pole, which sick roller. And on hole 9, theoretically, you could have gotten an ace by putting. Because of the hole rules. You know, you play to the long basket, take 1 stroke off your score, you get it in 2, boom. That's an unconventional ace. Thankfully, no one did it. But really, I want to give the biggest shout out to me and Robbie for designing a playably diabolical course design. We are giving ourselves, frankly, a big pat on the back for this one. It was difficult. It was pretty stupid, and it solved the problem of being too easy like Eastview and that insulting -14 that Oz and Tobin shot. Again, this will never happen again. I think this was an appropriate level of stupidity and absurdity and difficulty while still being playable and giving people not a good chance to even get par, but not a literally 0 chance. And so I can't wait to do this again. It is going to happen again. Unfortunately for you, dear players, there will be more of the Missed Mando series events. When and where this strikes next, I do not know. I have some ideas kicking around of where I want to bring it next. East of the GTA or east side of the GTA. Who knows? We will see. We will see. Takes a very special course to be able to be Mayhem appropriate. But when we have something to announce, stay tuned to this podcast because you know we are going to hype it up here.
Could not have been happier with how the event ran. A massive success, not only in fundraising for the Little Heisers tour, which of course was the initiative of the event, but also just in fun, in laughs, in enjoyment on a beautiful Sunday out at a beautiful course. Everybody that I talked to had such a blast. I had the pleasure at the Eastview event. I had the pleasure of actually playing it, which was really fun. But this one, I kind of wanted to just kind of sit back and not play, which I did get to this time, which was nice. And went around the course, took some videos, got to see a lot of people throwing some crazy shots out on the course and just having a ton of fun, which is really what we want in these events, and to, of course, support a good cause at the same time. I don't remember if you mentioned it in the breakdown, Shawnee G, but to go along with the money that we raised for the Little Heisers tour, we also had a 130 pounds in food donations, excuse me, that I dropped off today to the region of Waterloo food bank, just the one that was closest to me because I was lazy and didn't want to drive anywhere else. But that worked anyways. 130 pounds donated. Amazing job. Thank you, everybody that also brought out some food items to be donated. Absolutely an amazing cause, and can't wait to do this again, Shawnee G. The evil mind of Sean Galbraith will come to a course near you soon enough, and you'll hear it first here when we've got it planned. We are going to move now over to some tournament recaps. And we start our recaps out in Eastern Ontario at the Eddyville Superspin courses in Bourget for the 2025 Eddyville Open, which saw 54 players competing across 13 divisions. In MPO, Jacob Mainville held a one-stroke lead over Gabriel Pilat and Carter Yeomans going into the second round after a 994 rated -9 in the first. Through 14 holes, it was a tie at the top between Jacob and Carter at neg 13, with Chris Lay on the chase card jumping up to third at neg 10. But Carter would birdie the 15th to take a one-stroke lead, and Jacob would take a single and double bogey on the 16th and 17th, while Carter would par out to take the two-stroke win, his third win of the season. No FPO at this event. MP40 was the only other pro division, and it was David Milks taking it down by 13 strokes, shooting neg 15 for the event, which would have won him the MPO division by one stroke. Amazing shooting there in MP40. Over in the top amateur divisions, Dustin Chiarla, I apologize if I am pronouncing that wrong, but goes wire to wire for a four-stroke win in MA1, the first PDGA win of his career. And in FA1, it was Jesse Robinson taking down the win by a whopping 22 strokes, her second win of the season. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you for any thoughts that you've got and some ace shoutouts.
We got 3 ace shoutouts for the Eddyville Open. First, Jeff Rowland for an ace on hole 17 gold on the MVP Dream 18 course. I've never played Eddyville, so I can't tell you anything about those holes whatsoever. I don't know if you remember them.
I might be confusing 16 and 17 in my head, but if it's the one that I'm thinking of, that is an absolutely banana lands ace. And maybe as you're talking here, I'll try and quickly pull up a U-disc layout or something and confirm what I'm thinking. But if it's the hole that I'm thinking of in my head, one of the final holes of the dream layout at Eddyville, that is bonkers. That is a bonkers ace to get. But I could be wrong. So I
either
mean,
way,
who knows?
It's a fantastic ace either way. Another
It is,
fantastic
definitely.
ace was Chris Cooper getting the one on hole 6 blue on the Axiom Island Dunes course. And then lastly, Dominic Talon for his ace on hole 10 white on the MVP Dream 18 course. Love to see those. There wasn't a lot of super close divisions on this tournament, if I recall. We had I think a 1-stroke in one division, a 2-stroke in another, and then there were some pretty hefty, not super close divisions. So kudos to those few divisions that were keeping it close and exciting. Yeah, we always love to see that super competitive disc golf here on the show.
Absolutely love it. And just to confirm, yes, I was thinking of hole 16, which as I'm looking at it now, I don't even know why I thought it would be even possible to ace. It's a 505-foot par 4. That is ridiculous through the trees. Acing that thing would be absolutely insane. Hole 17 is a 163-foot par 3 that, though it is short, is a very tight line and is still a really awesome ace to hit. I've hit the cage on that and nearly lost my mind thinking that I hit one of the coolest aces of my life. So still an absolutely awesome ace there. Shout out to that one. Any from the gold tees is always really good. But Shawnee G, you need to make it out to Eddyville, my friend. You need to finally cross it off the bucket list. The dream course out there, definitely a favorite of mine. I love it. We are going to move on next to the Chainlink Conservation Series at Albion Hills, which saw 84 players competing across 13 divisions, of course, out at the Albion Hills Conservation Area. An amazing course that I somehow have not been out to this year, which is just a shame on my part. I need to change that. In FPO, Kat Johnson takes down the solo win as the only competitor in the field, while over in MPO, it was James Duong who held a 3-stroke lead over Willem Mason after a 1008 rated neg 5 in round 1. Round 2 was a tight battle early with both players shooting -3 through 9, but a costly double and triple bogey for James down the stretch would take his lead away. Meanwhile, Willem was able to stay mostly clean with only a single bogey stroke in the entire round, which he took on hole 15, and he would go on to win by 2 strokes for the first MPO win of his career. Over in the top amateur divisions, there were no competitors in FA1 at this event, but in MA1, it was Garrett Morgan, Mr. Thumbers only, taking down the win by 4 strokes over James Atkinson. Awesome. I'm picturing some of the lines that Garrett must have been throwing out there with Thumbers, and bonkers that he does that. My elbow hurts just watching him play. But congrats to Garrett. Absolutely awesome to take down the win. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you for any thoughts that you've got from the Chainlink Conservation Series at Albion.
I was out there photographing it, and it was what a beautiful day for disc golf out in Caledon. Really had a great time out there with getting shots of all the players. No aces, not surprisingly, really. No aces to shout out, but want to give props to Matt Bootsma for getting the Eagle 2 on hole 9. That is a massive high risk, high reward tee shot over the. I have to imagine. I can't imagine how you get a 2 if you don't take the lake shot from that tee. You got to take the lake shot to even have a chance, and it clearly paid off. It was the only eagle on any hole by any player in any division, and we absolutely love to see that. That might as well be an ace. Shout out to Chainlink and the TRCA for all the work they did on the course, getting it ready. They cleared out a whole bunch of area on like hole 9, for example, to make the landing zone on the approach a little bit more friendly, especially if you wanted to take the lake line and bail out a little bit early. It is a much more friendly course in some respects. But the way it is absolutely not more friendly is, of course, the daunting hole 18, which continues to be the bane of players' existence at Albion. It was unsurprisingly the hardest hole in almost, but shockingly not, every division, but almost every division, averaging 2 strokes over par for the event in MPO. And there were 0 birdies and only 2 pars for that division. It remains one of the most difficult holes in Ontario disc golf, and probably the source of most of complaints in Jeff and Kara's inbox would be my guess. But like, another great event out at Albion, and always bodes well for their future event in Kelso. So as we said at the top of the show, or at the in the registrations, definitely sign up for that one.
Definitely sign up for that one. And yes, hole 16, absolute insane hole. I do remember this from last year's event. There was, in the entire event, there was only 1 birdie in the entire event. I don't remember the amount of pars and all that, but it wasn't a lot of pars to go with it. Calvin Rorta was the only one to birdie it. And in talking to him, he threw righty forehand on both of his shots to get up there for 3, which is absolutely crazy because it is a right to left shaping hole. But Calvin is really good at throwing forehand, so it also doesn't really shock me. But yeah, so in the past 2 years of this event, there has been a single birdie on that hole in all divisions, and not a lot of pars to go with that. Absolutely bonkersly tough. Bonkersly, I don't know what that was, but I'm gonna roll with it. It's just very, very tough. I don't miss that hole, but I do miss Albion Hills because it is a very, very fun and very beautiful course that hopefully I will get back out to soon. The next stop of the 2025 Ontario Tour takes us north to Sudbury for the always popular Blueberry Brawl, which saw 88 players across 14 divisions looking to get a qualification for provincials if they haven't already. For those that aren't familiar, the Brawl is 4 rounds of 22 holes over 2 days and is an absolute grind to get through. But you also start your round with everybody taking a shot of blueberries together, which is just amazing. It is one of my favorite stops of my calendar every single year. In FPO, it was a back and forth battle at the start between Alicia Hums and Colleen McInnes, with Alicia holding a 6-stroke lead after round 1, and then Colleen holding a 6-stroke lead after round 2. Colleen would extend her lead to 12 after round 3, and though Alicia fought back in the final round with a 970 rated -3, it was too late, as Colleen would take down the win by 6 strokes, her 7th win of the season so far. Over in MPO, things were tight at the top early on, with Chris O'Zolins and Gavin Cathy tied for first after round 1, with Chris Brown and Thomas Hums only 1 stroke back. And after round 2, Oz held a 1-stroke lead over Thomas, with Gavin another 4 strokes back. Day 2 is when Oz put on the afterburners, though, leading by 6 strokes after round 3 and going on to take the win by 9 strokes for his 4th MPO win of the season, to go along with another win in MP40. In the top amateur divisions, Taylor Quigley goes wire to wire en route to a 9-stroke win for her 2nd straight win and 6th overall this season in FA1. And in MA1, Nathaniel Renton and Kevin Dickey were tied at the top after round 1. Ryan McWaters, Jean-Francois Menard, and I love saying his name. Love you, JF. And Kevin Dickey shared the lead after 2. And Kyle McCutcheon was tied with Nathaniel Renton after round 3, with Marc-Andre Comtois and myself only 1 stroke back. After a back-and-forth battle through the final round, though, it was Marc-Andre who would take down the win by 1 stroke over Nathaniel, with JF another 3 strokes back in 3rd. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you for any thoughts and ace shoutouts from the Blueberry Brawl.
Again, another course I have not played. I need to get up to the Brawl one of these years. Hopefully next year.
It might kill you.
I have heard that it's a tournament that you actually have to survive. Not
Yes.
really is so much play. Which, sure, why not? Sounds fun. Shout out to friend of the show, Spencer Young, for his ace on hole 19 white.
Incredibly impressive ace.
I know nothing about it. I assume
Very.
it's like a 700-foot uphill tunnel shot with a low ceiling or something like that. Probably, I don't know.
Very. I can find the exact distance, but it is uphill, wooded, and I know because I asked him afterwards, he threw a flip-up Pathfinder that was just apparently just the crispiest, most beautiful line you've ever seen. Was on its way the whole way there. Very, very impressive ace.
I admit I was closer in my description than I thought I would be. And then a second shout out to Phil Wade for his ace on hole 8 red. Very, very well done there. Robbie, how are you feeling about your rounds there at the brawl?
Well, for anybody that is familiar with my history at the Blueberry Brawl and the fact that this is the birthplace of Roller Coaster Robbie, when I had round ratings in the 700s, 800s, 900s, and thousands in a single event 2 years ago at this event, it was much, much, much more under control. This tournament. Now, though, I obviously did not get the result that I wanted and felt that I definitely was in it in that final round. I ended up averaging 1 point over my rating for the entire event. Just right bang on. Every single round was in the 900s too. No roller coaster this time. And it's just the Blueberry Brawl is always so much fun. We had a Airbnb with I think like 8 of us staying together, including Chris Brown, Colleen McInnes, Ryan McWaters, a bunch of people that I just love to hang out with. We went go-karting after the round on Saturday and mini putting and, shots of blueberries before round 1. I love going out to Sudbury. I don't love it as much when I've just played 88 holes in 2 days and I have to drive 4 hours home from Sudbury because it's so dang far away from where I live. But it's worth it. It is a joy to be out there. And also, while I was out there on the Friday, I got to go and check out the brand new course, Twin Stacks. Twin Stacks, is that what it was called? Am I getting that wrong? Twin Stacks, the newest course in Sudbury, designed by the Humses, and went out. We did kind of like a league. I don't know if it was supposed to be, but we had enough people that they kind of treated it like a league. Everybody went out in like a shotgun style and went to different holes. Got to see it for the first time. Lots and lots and lots of potential at this course. Definitely a little rough around the edges right now, but it's basically brand new, so that's to be expected. But lots of potential out there. A lot of fun throws, some really cool ones that I already really enjoy. So I'm very much looking forward to getting back out to Sudbury later for the Nickel City Open at Twin Stacks. But we will move on now again and head next to the Lake Ontario Open, which was hosted on 3 amazing courses that are 3 of the 4 courses that will be hosting Canadian Nationals later this year. This event saw 138 players across 16 divisions looking to get a win and probably get some tournament practice before Nationals. Starting in FPO, newest friend of the show, Jessica Goulet, held a 5-stroke lead after round 1 over Rebecca Dawn and Kat Johnson, and kept that same 5-stroke lead going into the final round after both her and Rebecca shot even par in round 2. Rebecca would shrink the lead down to 2 strokes through 12 holes, but a costly double and single bogey on 13 and 14 would drop her back. And though she added 2 birdies on the last 3 holes, it wasn't enough, as Jess was able to hold on for the 1-stroke win, the first A-tier win of her career. In MPO, Scott Jameson held a 7-stroke lead over Logan Burrow and Carter Yeomans after a blistering 1039 rated -7 at Cedar Creek. But in round 2 at Newcastle, it was Logan who tied the hot round with a 1,000 rated -6, while Scott shot even par, and the lead was down to 1 with 1 round to play. In the final round, Scott would unfortunately fall off the pace with a +5, but Logan was able to shoot the second hottest round in the division to take down the win by 4 strokes, his third win in 2025. Over in the top amateur divisions, Sarah Dawn takes the solo win as the only competitor in FA1. And in MA1, it was James Atkinson who goes wire to wire for the 8-stroke victory, his second win of the season so far. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you for some thoughts and ace shout-outs from the Lake Ontario Open.
Already talked a little bit about my rounds at the Lou. I was the loser in the show intro. So not much else to add from that perspective. Cedar Creek Golds is no joke, and the new Haute Goat Golds is possibly even less of a joke. It is tough, especially when you are a bad disc golfer like this guy right here. Serious business, serious fun though. It's a blast. It's a blast to try and play what the top level pros have to endure out there. One ace shout out to Frank Malafent. He bagged the ace on hole 5 on Newcastle White. That is a nice little shot there. That's the beehive hole that comes after Plinko. That's a nice little through the trees, get that little line, little shorty, really, really tight little ace there. So well done, Frank.
Definitely well done on that ace. That is a fun hole. That would be a pretty ace to hit on that hole for sure. And hearing you talk about the golds at Cedar Creek and Haute Goat is just filling me with immense dread, knowing that I'm going to have to play both of those courses for nationals later. But it is balanced by me playing P15 golds, which in the last 2 times that I've played there, I have shot very well on, including the hot round in MA1 at the P15 Open this year. So hopefully I'm not, too far out of it at those other courses that my P15 round won't matter. But I've also never played Cedar Creek yet, so very excited to see that. We are going to move on next to Guelph, Ontario for the next stop on the 2025 Ontario Tour, the Guelph Royale, which saw 76 players across 14 divisions battling it out for a chance to qualify for provincials on 2 of the courses that will be used at the provincial championships later on this year. In FPO, much like the Blueberry Brawl, it was Alicia Hums leading Colleen McInnes after the first round. But Alicia was able to keep her foot on the gas this time and increase her lead to 8 strokes after 2 rounds. Colleen would battle back in the final round with a 930 rated -3, but Alicia stayed strong with a 912 rated -1 to take down the win by 6 strokes, her 5th win of the season. Over in MPO, Cam Zanini held a 2-stroke lead over Andrew Leland after the first round, with Thomas Hums another stroke back in third. But Thomas was able to shoot the hot round in round 2 with a 1,008 rated -6 to take a 1-stroke lead over Cam into the final round, with Andrew 3 strokes back in third. Cam came out firing in the final round, taking the lead after 11 holes, but he would go +1 in the last 7 holes to fall off the pace, while Thomas was able to go -4 in that same stretch to take down the win by 2 strokes, his 3rd win of the season. And a great double Hums tournament win that they can celebrate heading back up to Sudbury. In the top amateur divisions, Kyrie McKeag held a 4-stroke lead over Lauren Williams and Tamara Sywick after round 1, with Taylor Quigley 11 back of the lead. But after round 2, it was Kyrie leading by 4 strokes over Taylor this time, after Taylor shot the division hot round by 7 strokes to climb back into it. In the final round, Taylor was once again able to shoot the hot round and would go on to pull off the come-from-behind win, taking it down by 4 strokes for her 3rd win in a row and 7th overall this season in FA1. Over in MA1, Jeff Betakoff held a one-stroke lead over Jason Day after round 1. But after round 2, it was Jeff in a tie for the lead with Ethan Eckenstein and myself only one stroke back with 1 round to play. I know, shocker, right? After the leaders had some early struggles, I actually found myself in the lead by 1 stroke after 9 holes. Jeff would tie the lead after 10 before we both birdied 11. But then my putter went ice cold as I missed 4 15-foot putts down the stretch, 1 for par and 3 for birdie, including a putt on, I think would have been my first birdie on the crazy hole 16, like 900-foot par 5. Awesome, awesome hole, and I almost played it perfectly, but the putter said no. 4 15-foot putts missed down the stretch, and I would fall off the pace and finish in third, only 3 strokes back. Meanwhile, after a brutal start to the round where he took, I believe it was a triple bogey and a double bogey on back-to-back holes, Ethan was charging and would go -7 in the last 14 holes, including birdieing the last 3 holes to send things to a playoff. And to get there, it was actually insane. A hole 18, Jeff is way over on the right, off the fairway, throws the craziest forehand roller recovery shot that I have ever seen to get himself a 50-foot putt uphill into the gap, for anyone familiar with Vic Park Valley, uphill to the basket. And then he cans the huge C2 jumper, putting the pressure onto Ethan, who is at circle's edge for his birdie putt. Ethan was also long of the basket, probably about 150 feet right, but long of the basket on a 800-foot, maybe even 900-foot par 5. The kid can mash. But he would step up, hit his birdie putt, send things to a playoff. But in the end, though, it was Jeff who was able to take it down on the first playoff hole for the first MA1 win of his career, the second PDGA win of his career following a MA2 win, which came at this event back when it was the Diameter Open 2 years ago. Obviously, Jeff loves playing in his home city of Guelph. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you for any thoughts, ace shoutouts, and the like.
Shout out to let's give a shout out first to MA50 player Gabby Vivar. I think that's how you pronounce. So FA50 player Gabby Vivar. I believe that's how you pronounce the name. I am unfamiliar with this player, of course, and so we're just want to give down other divisions, give some shout outs. Gabby, she just won her second Guelph Royale back to back. This incredible disc golf athlete shots lights out to lead the event in all 3 rounds. In the end, she won by a truly unprecedented 9 strokes. Surely one of the greatest victories the sport has ever seen, a feat that may never be matched until the eventual heat death of the universe billions of years from now. She shot, I think it's like 30 points over her rating. Well done. Totally unknown to me, Gabby Vivar, for your incredible victory. And then
not sure who that is, but I do really hope that she's like 15 feet from you right now and heard all of that.
She is absolutely nowhere near me. I guarantee that. Other shout out, a slightly lesser achievement, but still great nonetheless, to Andrew Leyland for nabbing the ace at Vic Park Valley Blue layout, hole 7. That is a really sweet ace to grab.
That is a really nice ace to grab. It is like a 300-foot shot, and the basket is like precariously sitting up on a hill. And high risk of roll away. I somehow always end up going way left somehow, but it is a very nice ace to grab and got him into a tie for second place in the end at that tournament. So huge congrats there to Leland on getting that ace. All right, Shawnee G, that does it for our local recaps. We are going to move on, unless you have anything else. We are going to move on to some Pro Tour recaps, and we have 2 majors to recap. And for anybody watching on YouTube, you will see that I am picking up my microphone and turning to the side because I did not write down anything for this recap. This is 100% freeballed. And as I pull up the scores, which I should have done earlier, we had a awesome leaderboard after round 1, which included friend of the pod, Sophia Dunica, in second place. Oh, and by the way, I guess I should probably say we are talking about the Cool Bet Presents the European Disc Golf Festival, which was held in Tallinn, Estonia. And yes, Sophia Dunica with a neg 6, sitting in a tie for second place after round 1. But after round 3, the cream had started to rise to the top as number 1 player in the world. Kristen Latt had a 3-stroke lead over Silva Saarinen heading into the final round. Ella Hansen had a crazy third round and moved up 15 places into third. And in the finals, though, it was Silva. Kristen actually, I don't know if it was Silva winning and also a little bit of Kristen losing, because it was some of the worst putting that I think I have ever seen down the stretch. Definitely the worst putting I've ever seen from Kristen down the stretch. Missing putts from inside the bullseye and just total air balls. Not on her game at all. But while that was happening, Silva shot an amazing 1,007 rated -6. She was even par through the front 9 and went -6 on the back 9 to take down the win by 2 strokes for the very first major win of her career. Incredible job. And everybody that has been following along Missed Mando since we've started knows that I love to pick Silva Saarinen in our picks. So I am very happy for Silva there. Over on the MPO side, Anthony Barella was tied with Isaac Robinson, Major Robinson, after round 1. Only a 1-shot lead over Ricky Wysocki, Nicholas Antala, Luke Taylor, and Cal Longquist, who were all tied for third. But after round 3, it was Gannon and Isaac. Is that who was tied right there? No, it was Barella and Isaac. Then it was Gannon and Isaac tied for the lead after round 3, with Calvin Heimberg only 1 stroke back. Paul Macbeth, another 3 strokes back in a tie for fourth. And in the final round, it was back and forth. It was a battle. Calvin Heimberg on hole 17 with a 1-stroke lead has a putt to ice the tournament, and he doinks it right off the front of the cage. And Calvin fans are getting all worried, thinking, oh no, here it comes again. He's going to be so close. Hole 18, a big, long shot downhill, wide open pretty much. Who stepped up first? I think it was Calvin stepped up first, and he put it a little wide. Gannon stuck it inside the circle. Calvin has about, I don't know, 50-foot putt. I wonder if I can actually pull it up here on the live score, and will it tell me how long it was? A 42-foot putt. C2. He's eyeing it up. Everybody's quiet. He lets it go, and it is in the basket. Calvin Heimberg wins by 1 stroke. Absolute ice in his veins. Finally ending the narrative of can Calvin win a major. He gets it done. Wins his first career major by 1 stroke over Gannon Burr. Through 4 rounds, the winning score, -49. Holy moly. It was a scoring fest, but personally, I absolutely loved watching it. I don't mind having a tournament every once in a while that is a birdie fest and is just like mistakes are getting pars. I like to see it And this tournament definitely provided it on the MPO side and was exciting on the FPO side as well. It was just a fun tournament. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you for some of your thoughts from the European Disc Golf Festival.
I love me some birdie or die. Mental grind tournament, and this one absolutely delivered. It was equally fun to watch in MPO and FPO, which doesn't happen all the time these days. And absolutely love that we had 2 first-time winners again this year. So much fun. Loved the whole production of this event. Estonia really went all out with the Song Festival grounds.
Yeah.
Blowing the smoke cannons and the big screen and the throwing from the platform and all that other stuff. I mean, not the most thrilling course in the world, but, still sufficiently tough for a birdie or die course. And it really, it ended up bringing the drama in the end. And that's what we want in disc golf.
I found that the course was really fair, where it there was teeth on it for sure. Like it had some punishment, but if you're a top player in the world and you're on your game, you're hitting your lines, you're gonna absolutely tear this course apart.
Mm-hmm.
We saw, what was it, 2 1100 rated rounds in this tournament, or was it 3?
I think it is at least 2.
It was definitely 2. It might have been 3. I think it was 2. But yeah, absolutely crazy. If you're on, you're going to tear it apart, but there's definitely still teeth out there. And I like the birdie or die because honestly, like the pressure of knowing you have to step up and execute and get a birdie every single time, or you're going to be falling off the pace and losing. That's a relentless pressure to feel on every single hole. And Calvin definitely stepped up and made it count when it happened with a huge circle 2 putt. For anybody that hasn't seen it yet, go and find a highlight video of that putt. There's a couple different video angles, but the one that is like up in the grandstand from above looking down, so cool to watch. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, I thought this event was great, and it is going to be back as the World Championships in 2029. I believe next year it will also be the only European major will be hosted at this event as well. Do we have any picks for this, Shawnee G, or did we leave the picks? I don't remember.
I don't think we made. Did we? I don't remember if we even made any picks because you weren't on the show before this.
Well, the one before this was our interview only episode with Brooklyn Okrafka, but I think in our last full episode, I think when we had 30? Kevin McIntosh, I think we may have, and I am just saying a lot of words while I stall and find it. And yes, so European Disc Golf Festival. I don't know exactly where everybody has fallen here, but Sean, you had Holland and Nicholas. I had Evelina and Ricky, and I can't believe we forgot to bring this up. Galen had Sintija Klesberga, who was actually tied for, or was it solo lead? Let me pull it up. Was it tied or solo? It was solo lead by 2 strokes after the first round. The lowest rated player in the field had a 2-stroke lead, and Galen was actually looking like he was in really, really good position to have one of the craziest upsets our Pick'em has ever seen. But unfortunately, she would fall off the pace a little bit. She did finish, though, tied 20th, which for the lowest rated player picks that Galen has been getting this season, by far the best performance that he has had from a player. So pretty crazy and awesome to see.
How did we forget that? That was just that was the highlight of this entire event. Galen's unlikely pick. Absolutely, truly popping off and having the round of her career.
Absolutely insane. And as for our picks, Shawnee G, you beat me on the FPO side, taking Holland, who finished in 5th, and I had Evelina, who finished in 8th. And on the MPO side, you took Nicholas, who finished in 6th, and I had Ricky Wysocki, who finished in 7th. So you win on both MPO and FPO, and of course, math is math. That means that you take the overall win in our picks for the European Disc Golf Festival.
And I don't think we had picks for Worlds, did we?
We did not, because we made a little audible and delayed our show a bit. So we didn't have a preview for Worlds or picks. We should have done some offline, but oh well. It is in the past. But speaking of Worlds, we are going to move on to the 2025 PDGA Professional World Championships. Very first time the World Championships have been held in Finland, anywhere in Europe. Only the second time Worlds has ever been hosted outside of the United States, after, of course, it was hosted in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, way back in 1987. But here in Finland, in FBO, Hannah Blumrose got out to a good start, holding a 2-stroke lead over Kat Murch and Silva Saarinen and Rachel Turton and Ida Lettämäki after the first round. Ida Lettämäki being the 15-year-old Finnish phenom, who we're going to talk a little bit about more, because after round 2, it was Owen Scoggins who had a 2-shot lead over Ida, with Henna another stroke back in third. After round 3, it was Ida tied with Owen for the lead at 10 under, with Henna 2 back at 8. And after round 4, 15-year-old Ida Lettämäki has a 1-stroke lead over Henna Blumrose and 4 strokes over Owen Scoggins going into the final round. And in that final round, it was all over the place. I know Henna was in the solo lead at one point with a pretty sizable lead until she took some bogeys late. Ida started off fairly decent, going bogey, birdie, birdie, but then a long stretch of pars followed by 3 straight bogeys kind of knocked her off. And Owen just had a kind of just a very, very steady round the whole way through. But oh my goodness, watching this round, Owen's putting was absolutely insane. Looking at her stats, she went 7 of 7 from C1, 6 of 9 from C2. Absolutely crazy. And that would lead to a playoff. Owen would birdie the 18th hole to tie Ida, and then send it off to a playoff. Looking at one of 2 options, we are either going to have the oldest winner of Worlds in history or the youngest winner at Worlds in history. The 44-year-old Owen Scoggins versus the 15-year-old Ida Lettämäki. And a weird set of events they played the 18th over again. It was just going to be on repeat until there was a winner. Owen went OB off the tee, but had a pretty good scramble shot. And Ida was looking to get onto the green to have a birdie chance for the win. She leaves it a little short and OB. She then has, now albeit a very long putt, and Owen is already over beside the basket, tapping in for her par. Ida's looking at probably 50 feet, if not more. But she has to make it to send it to another hole, and she lays up beside the basket, giving the win to Owen, who, of course, would step up and nail the putt for her first FPO world title after winning 4 world titles in FA 40, or is it 5? Or FP 40, sorry. It might even be 5. 4 or 5 titles in FP 40 at Worlds. She gets her first FPO World Championship, the oldest player to win at Worlds, or at least to win their first Worlds. It might even be just in ever to win a World Championship. Absolute incredible performance by Owen, and so much fun to watch that round. It was at like 2 a.m. for us here on the East Coast of North America, so I didn't watch it live, but watching the highlights, holy cow, absolutely insane. But over on the MPO side, we did get to watch a little bit of the end of this at the Mando Mayhem on Sunday. But earlier in round one, Sullivan Tipton got out to the opening round lead with 1 stroke over Adam Hammes and Piri Jutsen and Itu Tuominen, who are all tied for second at 11 under, with Gannon Buhr, Albert Tom, and Raven Newsom only 1 stroke behind of them at 10 under. After round two, Ezra Aderhold, after an absolutely mind-blowing neg 14 at the Monster, a round that absolutely should be 1100 rated plus, he takes a 4-stroke lead into round three. But after round three, that lead is down to 1 as Nicholas Antila has jumped up into second, and Gannon Buhr is only 2 back of the lead in third. And after round four, to set the stage for the finals, Gannon Buhr shoots a 10 under, 1068 rated to take a 2-stroke lead. But Anthony Barella shoots an absolutely mind-numbing -15 with a bogey and an eagle, a 1105 rated round. I believe I saw that it was the highest rated round ever at the World Championships. And he would jump up 5 spots on the leaderboard to trail only 2 strokes going into the final round, where Gannon Buhr would, down the stretch, he had a 2-stroke lead going into hole 17, where he would unfortunately go OB off the tee, miss the putt, and take a bogey to shrink his lead down to 1 stroke with 1 hole to play. He's playing safe. Nicholas from the chase card made a great effort all day, but an unfortunate bogey on 15 took him out of it a little bit. He had to hit a long putt on 18 to have any chance, and it sails a little wide, goes OB, and knocks him down into third. Meanwhile, Aaron Gossage was able to birdie the 18th to bring himself to within 1 stroke of Gannon as he's coming down 18. But Gannon, he's too good. He's able to execute the par, chips up the fairway, gets nice near the basket for a par putt, taps it in for his first career World Championship title at only 20 years of age. It is going to be incredible what this kid is able to do through the next, 20 years of playing. How many worlds is he going to rack up? Who knows? But he gets the first, taking it down by 1 stroke over Goose, who has now finished second at World twice. And Nicholas, the hometown hero, finishes in third after a really great effort in the final round. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you for any of your thoughts from the World Championships.
We were up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to watch the FPO coming down the home stretch there, and it was absolutely riveting, thrilling disc golf. What more can you say about Ida Letamaki other than she has like an incredible name, just so musical? Ida Letamaki.
It's so fun to say.
So fun to say. That she had it was like 11 or 12 stroke lead going into the dreaded hole 16 round 4, and just gone. What an incredible hole to have on a tournament. That is not the final hole. If that was, I think it would be a terrible final hole, but a down the stretch hole, equalizer, punishing, but fair hole, I think, because you can always lay up and make the easy, but pros don't want to lay up. But she did on the final round. Very smart. She learned, really showing a lot of maturity in her game like a really obviously 15-year-old, very young age and early part of her career.
Her very first Worlds too. She's never competed at the Worlds before.
It's amazing. It's going to be so incredible to watch her progress. Own 100% C1 in the finals, 100% C1X in the finals, 67% C2 putting. Truly putt for dough. Like in no way is that surprising from from Owen Scoggins.
Not just that too, Shawnee G. How about this? Her C2 putts, 36 feet, 42 feet, 42 feet, 39, 52, 39. Those were her 6 C2 makes of 50. What did I say? 52 and multiple 40 footers. It was just incredible.
Yeah. Led the field in shots gained putting, 18 strokes, led the field strokes gained C1X, led the field in C2 putting, and all of that C2 putting was in the final round. She didn't make a single C2 putt before the final round, and she smashed it when it mattered the most. Absolutely incredible performance.
I did not realize that stat. She was 0 for 3, 0 for 3, 0 for 3, 0 for 6, and then in the final round goes 6 of 9 in the clutch when it matters most. That is so crazy.
So clutch. So clutch. Absolutely incredible performance. And then on the other end of that scale, you have Hannah Blomroos, who, like, what can you say? Like, it's painful. Like, or
if she could
Evelina
just be an average putter, but you could say this about both of them. But I think honestly, Henna might even be the better thrower than Evelina, which is actually insane to say because how good Evelina is at throwing a disc. But the fact that Henna can stay in these tournaments while putting at so bad is mind-boggling to me. If she could just putt average, she might never lose again. She might never lose if she could just be an average putter. But alas, we know that's not the case.
Evelina led the field in shots gained tee to green, 42.85 strokes ahead.
Who was second?
Evelina 42, Henna 39. Like, they are.
Henna was third.
26. Ella Hansen.
Holy jeez! Holy cow!
Yeah. Henna was 13 strokes better tee to green. And Ella was, or Evelina was 16 strokes better. But putting, Henna was minus 12, minus 11.96 putting. So she lost a third of what she gained with her drives. But Evelina, minus 23.9. She lost more than 50% of her strokes gained tee to green. And that was it. Like, that's
wow.
That's how it goes. Like, that's your
Evelina finished a little bit lower, but Henna, even with those stats, lost by 1 stroke.
It shows just how good of a thrower she is.
Insane.
And it's like just one more putt.
Yeah.
She didn't even have to be a lot better. She just had to be barely better because she was throwing so incredibly well, so much better than anybody else in the field, except Evelina. But Evelina just took herself out of it by just not knowing how to putt. Last year, that was sufficient to win a world championship, apparently, but not this year.
This year, not the case. And I also, before I forget, I also want to mention, and a big shout out to Ella Hansen, who also ended up finishing only 1 stroke back of the lead. She moved up 4 places on the final day after shooting a 12 under 1057 rated round, unofficially the 3rd highest rated round in FPO history.
Incredible.
And she bogeyed 18.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. What a performance.
If she just pars that, She undoubtedly has the highest rated round in FPO history, and she joins Ida and Own in the playoff, and who knows what happens there. But an absolutely incredible final round performance by Ella to even jump up into the conversation. Really, really amazing.
Her hole 15 eagle, she eagled 476 foot hole.
Crazy.
What a smash. Just mind blowing. Absolutely mind blowing performance. So good. Over in MPO at the start of the season, there was talk about Goose getting his putt, completely reworking his putt. He was down on the New Zealand tour, and he was putting really well. And we're like, this is his year. And it hasn't been his year up until now. He was putting so well on at Worlds. Shot a neg 13 on the final round. Absolutely fantastic score. But I think, of course, the highlight round has to be Ezra Aderhold's minus 14 at the Monster, the 1094 rated round. Even though it wasn't the highest rated round of the tournament, this was, the pros were saying, and I who am I to argue with that? Like, this is one of the all-time greatest rounds of disc golf that has ever been played. It was mind blowing. He could not miss. He could not buy a bogey. It was absolutely incredible, and it was cool to see him really pop off. And the fun thing was what the Finnish announcers on the local TV were calling him. And what was it? It was
Meat sleeve.
Meat sleeve. That is it. We call him at our household, we call him Too Tight Pants, but the announcers in Finland were calling him what translated to meat sleeve, which is an incredible. It's so good. It's so good. And 100% accurate. What a Worlds. Seeing the gallery, the size of the gallery, the fact that they had skyboxes to watch the event, like multi-level skyboxes, like this was like the European Disc Golf Festival. They were like, haha, we are setting the standard. And that lasted like 10 days because UC blew the doors off the place for Worlds. I can't imagine now the players, some of them are going to Turku. They're like, they just be like, where is everyone? It's like back to reality, back to the regular Pro Tour. And they're like, even like the big events in North America side, of course, close to my heart, the MVP Open. It's just going to be, it must be such a letdown compared to what they just went through and were able to experience at this Worlds. Mind-blowingly huge. So cool. One last shout out. Friend of the show, Sophia Dunica, continues her cash streak and finishes a great solo 33rd at World. Oh, excuse me. Finishes tied for 22nd. Tied for 22nd at Worlds. Really, really great showing there. Well done, Sophia. She and Thomas are off to Chengdu, China right now. They probably have just landed there to play in as Team Canada at the World Games this coming weekend. I think it starts on like Friday for the flying disc division, which includes disc golf and ultimate. I think we'll be able to watch it online on the World Games website. I don't know that if it's going to be live or if it is going to just be post-produced, but I believe that you'll be able to watch it on there, along with such amazing notable events as casting, which is fishing casting, and Fistball. Yes, you can watch Fistball, which is apparently a sport that exists. Who knew?
I wonder what the heck that is.
It's kind of volleyball-ish, but you can punch the disc or you can hit it with your forehand. And I watched a primer. The World Games website has like a primer, like a beginner's guide to what the heck is this sport, because there are a lot of what the heck is this sport in this. There's one I think called Korgball, which is kind of basketball-y, but with no backboard. It's just a hoop in like the middle.
I've seen
pretty cool
of that. It looked crazy.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, like there's all sorts of sick events. It looks really, really fun. And I'm definitely going to try and check out some of these things. But yeah, Frolf is in the World Games again. And let's go Team Canada.
Definitely let's go Team Canada. That was a great transition, Shawnee G, out of the World Championships to the World Games. And yes, a big good luck to friends of the show, Thomas Gilbert and Sophia Dunica, who will be out there representing the red and white and doing it well. I'm sure it'll be a alt shot doubles event. And yeah, if we can watch it, hopefully we can. It'll be certainly nice to see some shots from our top Canadians heading over there. We also have, I believe this weekend is the Turku Open in Finland. I believe a bunch of pros are already heading back to the U.S., so might not be a full field, but a lot of Europeans sticking back, probably a couple of Americans sticking back there, I'm sure, as well. So that will be a nice field to watch. Shawnee G, do you have anything to add before we end here? Nothing to add. All right. Well, with that being said, that is going to do it for us here at Missed Mando. Good luck to all of the players of the Junior Gauntlet. I believe that's going down in Guelph. The Flats Classic out in St. Thomas. That one will be really fun. I will be playing that one. The Summer Farm Frenzy, of course, at Winter Farms, and all other events happening this weekend. Good luck. Have some fun out there, and as always, we'll see you on the course.